You're listening to Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. Small town feel with big time ideas. After all, you are entitled to Brad's opinion. Here's your host, Brad Allard.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing today? It's another great week. Hill College starts today for me, So I got Alex Phillips here. We're going to talk about just in general what's going on with the economy in Burleson. And last week I had both the mayor and Victoria on, and they said that sales taxes wasn't as high as they wanted it to be. And you can tell us about the details behind that and what's going on and what y'all see in your economic development crew, that little trio of troublemakers. We're just sitting here drinking our coffee. Taylor, where'd you get this coffee?
Flying squirrel down the street.
Is it? Yeah, pretty good coffee.
Because when I got here, somebody was like, I'm so tired.
Alex, really?
No. I apologize.
No,
Thanks, Taylor.
No, he's talking about...
Anytime, I got you.
He's talking about me because, Taylor's
Quality service.
Yeah, well, we're not young men anymore. We need our sleep.
Well, he's got the first day of school blues.
Yes.
DBU started last week, but today it's Hill, where they're going to say, what in the world do you want, old man? Going to teach us government? I don't think so. Anyway, now your daughter started Hill in a sense, right? She's a senior.
Yeah, so she did some dual credit last year, and she's doing some dual credit this year too. So
it does save you some money, doesn't it?
It does.
And you're going to be using the opportunity fund, you think?
She is not.
Okay, she has where she wants to go somewhere.
Yes,
and that would be.
I'm not at liberty to tell anybody because
God Almighty. I mean, you just
she
man
wants
of secrets.
She wants to announce it this fall.
Yeah,
so
you're
I'll
just
let her do.
See, like I got you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
just in case, the hat
Security
representing, Baylor University.
Yes.
There you go. And at least put it on the list. Just humor me.
Yes.
Oh, my friend Lisa Smith is watching. She does Stop Restoration, where she gets it right the first time.
Hey, that'll work.
That's their motto, and she's
Very
part
cool.
of the B9 group. Very sweet woman.
Very cool.
But yeah, it's nice to see friends that drop in. Anyway, like I said, we're going to talk about just the various activities that are going on in town, and the prognosis, and then whatever else comes to mind. You also have a couple of events coming up.
We do,
and we'll talk about those as well. So first, though, let us talk about Otto and our place. And, everybody knows Otto. How many times do you think you go there a month? A couple times, 3 times a month at least?
Our place, maybe once a month. We try to mix it up.
Well, I guess
and he's
you're
got
right.
Gina's now, too.
Yeah.
And, so we got plenty of options.
Well, I'll be there Thursday. Every other Thursday morning, my men, friends in the Sunday school class, we all get together and, try to solve the world's problems and come woefully short, but that's fine, too. But it's always great, I say this a lot about Otto's place and in Gina's. He has long-term employees, and that tells me a lot because I bet the restaurant has the highest churn rate of people working, and they stay with him a long, long time. So there must be some reason for that.
Absolutely.
Now, as far as the Gina's, I'm working on something hopefully special for Gina's. But like you, I have my secrets.
So a Gina's special.
Something like that, So at least that's what I'm trying to. Yeah. Well, actually, when I go to Gina's, I've been getting the baked ziti because I really do like it, and I know they're pushing it a little bit. And I said I'll give it a shot. And it really is good.
Yeah.
And not that I expect anything different, but you go to a pizza joint, you get pizza, right? Anyway, so thank you, Otto, for all you do. Also, our friends over at Wild Cigar, another community patron. They do a lot of stuff for the community. They sponsor a lot of these nonprofit events. I know that in 2 or 3 of these events I've been to, they have donated like a humidor or some very nice cigars and whatever else. I mean, I don't know how often you get over there. I don't know, but
not that often.
Yeah.
And we're getting with Chris and going to go sit down with him and talk to him about business in the city and stuff like that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for like another podcast or
No, just to reach out and
just to
touch base with them and see how things are going.
Yeah, well, I talked to Nathan, who kind of is the daily operator, so to speak, and some weeks are good, some weeks are great, some weeks are not as good. It just depends, it's up and down. But the service and the drinks and the cigars are always good. So I've been in there. It's interesting. I've been there like in the afternoon, like at 2 in the afternoon, and you think it might be kind of quiet. It is quiet, but I mean, there's about 4 or 5 tables of people working or socializing. I got cracked up last time I went. There was 4 women sitting on a table and they're smoking big old cigars. So, it's not just men.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, our friends over at Old Pro, these people for a long, long time. John Williams will help you out, 817-734-2756. It's time to get your roof inspected, because we're not going to have another. It's not going to rain again in this century, so you might as well find out.
Yeah.
Well, just the bad time to find out your roof needs repairs is when it's raining.
Yes.
And so he'll come check it out, and he'll tell you yes or no. I mean, he'll tell you need repairs, or need a new roof, or not. He's not there to upsell you, and that's what I like. He's not there to try to make you feel like your roof's about to cave in on you and whatnot. So 817-734-2756, and he's a good guy. They're good people over there. That B&I group I'm in, I'm really fortunate because all of them are quality people as well as good business owners.
Yeah.
And that makes it so much easier to recommend them because you know what kind of people they are. Anyway, lastly, also our friends over at the Weathington Agency with Jeff Kelly. Jeff has got some land for sale. You don't get that very often around here. And, he has a parcel over near Chisholm Trail. He has one in Alvarado. He has 3 or 4 homes that he's showing. So check out if you want to move into Burleson. Part of the development group, you get real estate information, right?
Yes, sir.
Builds,
we work with the local brokers and local real estate agents in the area.
Well, they'll tell you this is a good time to buy, even if the rates are a little high, because you can always renegotiate the rates. You can't renegotiate the price, and so if the rates come down a bunch, the prices go up, and that's your principal isn't going to change. So give it a lot of thought if you're looking to move here, and he's the guy to talk to. 817-781-0546, 817-720-6300. I believe the Railroaders have a series coming up this weekend on Labor Day. I haven't talked to Kay in about a couple of weeks, and August is a very busy time for the Railroaders because not only are they got the ball games and all the events they put on, but it's getting close to postseason. They have to arrange all of that.
Yeah, their last home game was last night.
Right. Well, they're going to go to the playoffs.
Yes.
And I don't know exactly who or where they're going to play. I don't know if they know that yet. So there's a lot going on. But they always do such great stuff for the community. So and first responders, a lot of these nonprofits.
They did an event for the Burleson Animal Shelter the other night.
See, there you go. Thank you, Kay. I hope to be able to get hold of you pretty soon when maybe the season's over. You can catch your breath. It was interesting. Last Monday, I had Chris Fletcher on, and we got off on such a rabbit trail about restaurants and where we like to go. And he's trying to be politically correct. Well, I like all of them. Oh, come on. It's like we're not asking you which kid you love more. I mean, just say which restaurants you like to go to, right? And he mentioned a few. But it was interesting to me. Because he's been around here for a long time. I have been around here for quite some time now. Just tell me more opportunities we have to stay local.
Oh, yeah. There's a ton of opportunities to stay here in town. I mean, to go eat and just about every cuisine. I mean, even, to good steaks to your fast food restaurants as well.
Well, you when you get data, you break it down by restaurant, retail, service, whatever. You get the economic data, I'm sure.
So we get sales tax reports basically, just and it's grouped that way: industrial, retail, restaurants, things of that nature. So,
what's going on then? Because last week, both Victoria and the mayor said they were expecting 3% sales tax increase, and it went up 1%, and it's impacting the budget, which I don't know if they've formally adopted it yet, but it's pretty much going to be adopted as is without maybe a tweak here or there, but it's going to be voted on in the next meeting.
Yes, sir.
Which I believe is a week from tomorrow.
I want to say it's the 9th.
The 9th. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, because I don't think they're going to have the meeting the week of Labor Day.
Okay.
So,
well, and so even though the budget's not due technically to the October 1st, I suppose. It's good that they got it done, but it's pretty much going to be what it is. And they said that they expected 3% growth and got 1% growth, and that's going to have real impact on street repairs and things like that. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yes, sir. So the biggest, that we see is our home improvement stores. Lowe's and Home Depot are down quite a bit. The concrete plant that produces a lot of concrete in town, it's down quite a bit. And that interest rates that went up earlier this year slowed construction, and that had an impact, a ripple effect at some of these other places that produce sales tax for us. The other part of that is people aren't out spending as much money as they had in the years past, and also, you have other communities around us that are getting uses that are similar to what we have in town, or same places, that we have. Like, Cleburne's got a Hobby Lobby now.
Oh, no.
And they have an Olive Garden. So, I mean, people that used to come to our market to do that shopping, maybe they're staying in Cleburne now. Or if it's, Crowley's now got a coffee shop. Maybe they're not coming into
this flying squirrel that we're drinking.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just you're starting to see the communities around us get different uses that are similar to what we have in town. So maybe they're not coming into Burleson as much.
Well, and I do believe inflation has something to do with that.
Yes, sir.
Because you talk about home improvement issues. Maybe you can go one more month with that whatever home improvement plan you had in mind. I know that. Robin, my wife, has some plans. She'd like to, retile this and redo that. And I said, take a look at the price, and it is more expensive. And I'm going to talk tomorrow about one of my rants about all this business about are we being gouged by companies. I don't believe that. I really don't, because the profit margins, particularly in restaurants and grocery stores, are so thin that I don't think anybody, is getting gouged. But it is a factor in your thinking.
Yeah.
And also, you mentioned probably before the show, a lot of people ran up credit cards, and those credit card interest rates are brutal, and they're paying them off as best they can.
Yeah, and that's from basically Christmas last year.
Yeah.
That people are paying those. So, I mean, there's a lot of different factors that go into the sales tax. It's not just one thing. In our jobs as economic developers, and we have some great ones in Johnson County, is to try to find spots for places that people leave your town to go to.
Do people? It's interesting because talk about I know there's competition, but it didn't sound like it's cutthroat, like you may see between Dallas and Fort Worth, something like that, or the mid cities. But
we're usually not competing on the same things in the county. So I mean, just because our population's different than Cleburne and Joshua and Alvarado, so they're going to be, Joshua's getting, their McDonald's that they opened up, over the last year, Bob Brookshire's, there's more development going in there, so they're getting things that we've had. But, with them having a McDonald's in there, it has an impact on our McDonald's because maybe people aren't driving in on the weekend to come there for their kids or whatever. They're staying home.
Yeah. You mentioned on the show with the mayor that really it effectively is not our population.
It's our retail trade area.
Retail trade area is really about 7 times larger than just our retail.
A little bit over 350,000 people.
Yeah, because of the location, the pass through to the highway into Fort Worth and all that.
Yes, sir.
So I could see why, if you were a Burleson or looking at Burleson for business, because of all that traffic you're getting, but it also, I bet it's more expensive to build here and buy land here than it would be in Joshua.
So, I mean, prices of dirt haven't come down. That's for sure. I mean, and that's where a developer makes their money, is how they buy the dirt and at what price. So,
well, do you keep up with the construction of these new businesses, or you're pretty much focused on the new businesses coming in to the point where once they're in, once they've done all the paperwork, once they've had the all the approvals they need or whatever else? Do you keep up with their construction? Because there's one place I really don't know what's going on with, and that is this Shell station over by Centennial. It's been going up for years. It's like Rob and I drive by it every day. It's like we never see any progress hardly.
So I believe like the owner's like on his 3rd general contractor. So every time he changes general contractor, there's a lot of paperwork that need to be changed at City Hall, bonds and things of that nature. So yes, it's been taking a while.
And I just wondered if it was the QT just scared them off, but whatever else.
No.
But, I've asked you this before. I mean, you don't advise people coming in and say, well, we already have enough hamburger joints. You say, thank you, and where can we put you, right?
To a certain extent. I mean, there's different parts of the community that need different things, I mean, just because we have Grumps in Old Town doesn't mean that we don't need a hamburger joint on the other side of town.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But you don't tell them not to come because we have too many hamburger joints.
Not at all. We show them the community just like we do everybody else.
And they must have seen something to make them even consider it.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if he still does this, but my friend used to sell demographic data and economic data and all those things that probably y'all use all the time. And so it was pretty interesting. I used to incorporate that in my economics classes, in fact, back in the 90s primarily. And, we'd use Burleson economic data to say, okay, what would you put here and why? And how would you make it work, and try do a simulation of starting a business. And it was one of
I remember that. I remember that in high school selling pens.
Pens, the old computer game, the Apple II printer.
Yeah, exactly.
Back and forth. Yeah,
yes.
I remember. So, Junior Achievement came in. I used them too, but we also used about. But I just used it. I just made up my own game in a sense because I had to access that data. Let's see. Shannon Sears says, "What did I miss? What is going on at the corner of 174 and Summercrest?" I was going to ask you about that myself.
Yeah. So the developer's still working to finalize the lineup for there. Retail development is quite tough in today's world just because of the economics of deals, and sometimes a retailer will sign up and then decide, okay, maybe this isn't the right spot. I'm only going to do 5 locations this year. Maybe this isn't one of them. So that developer's working, finalizing that lineup on that corner, and hopefully have some news soon.
Well, I remember...
But the buildings are down. The dilapidation of the buildings are down, so it does look better than what it used to.
Well, there was that Gladmart, I think was called. Really looked pretty.
Graysmart.
Okay, whatever. Yeah. It's whatever. It was just it looked pretty.
Or the old Stop and Go. Either way.
Well, that's way back.
That's way back.
And then that old Sonic / nursery, whatever. Yes. It looked pretty rinky dink. Yeah, it wasn't the best foot forward on our community,
but it's moving forward.
It just takes a lot of time, apparently.
It does. It does.
We're just so used to things popping up. Oh, I didn't ever notice that.
Yeah.
And of course, where the old Jose's /
China King
is now. I believe that coffee shop was a
Black Rock Coffee.
I think it's open now.
It's open. It's been open for a week and a half. They've been doing gangbusters. The line's been around the building.
Well, I was joking with the mayor last week. How much coffee do we drink in this town? But but every time I drive by. Like there's one, I forget exactly the name. It's over by the Chick-fil-A and H-E-B parking lot.
151.
151. I was going to say that, but I was want to make sure. It's like, or 511. I was one of those. I got my numbers there. They always have a line.
They do. I mean, these. I mean, yes, we've gotten a lot of coffee places, but these businesses that spend the kind of money they're spending to develop it, they wouldn't come into a market that they didn't feel like they'd be successful in.
Well, and that's exactly right. I know you're not in the business of telling them, we got too many coffee shops, but if they think there's room for one more, then there must be room for one more. I mean, if they're willing to put their own money in it.
Yes, sir.
But when I moved here many years ago, I used to joke that this town had the most dry cleaners, the most nail salons, and the most takeout pizza joints I've ever seen, for a town of that size. And that hadn't changed much. Now we have car washes and coffee shops.
Exactly. Yeah. None of the car washes have closed yet either. So, I mean, they're doing the business.
They're doing the business. They're doing all right. So, and, I guess. And we had the cleanest cars and the nicest starched shirts, and our nails are nice and whatever.
For sure. For sure.
You like that, did you, too? Thank you. Anyway, when I go back to Gina's, I remember when it was the original Gina's, so to speak, and it would just not anything like remotely what Otto's got going on there.
No, not at all.
But that was all they had were those kind of restaurants, mom and pop, Old Country Steakhouse. I remember China Doll.
Yeah.
It may have been some risk eating there, but we liked it.
There was risk there. There was risk there, but everybody loved it.
Yeah, it's like a few roaches and the rice. It's worth it.
You had Mama's Pizza. It's first iteration down there by China Doll, but and
then you had the Pizza Inn,
Pizza Inn that Marion Howard had.
Yes, and then it built some Pizza Canoe, which I really liked. And this is what we were talking about with the mayor. All these little places,
absolutely.
But we didn't have anything remotely like we have now.
No, not at all. I mean, you have so many different choices now.
Yeah, and it's. I guess because of y'all, you think?
Yeah. Well, no, I think it's a team effort.
Well, y'all have a lot to do with it, honestly. I'm kind of teasing with you, but you do have a lot to offer. You and your crew, Pennywell and Van Noy, they all
Drew and Joni,
they get together. I mean, I don't know if many communities are as fortunate to have the three of y'all that really promote the community like you do.
No, I don't think so. I mean, for as long as we've worked together, going on almost 10 years, together, and in our world, people move around from city to city pretty frequently. Every couple of years, you'll see an economic developer move from one city to the next. And for us, this is our community, this is our home, this is where we're raising our kids. And
you've been doing it for a while. Is this something you thought about doing when you were in high school?
No, No.
You just thought about getting out of high school.
I just thought about walking across the stage in high school.
Yeah.
Getting across, you know.
Some graduated to summa cum laude, that you graduated, thank you, Lottie.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I like that
I
one.
had to check the program to make sure my name was in it.
Yeah.
So.
And, who's the principal at the time? Was it Terry Ford?
No, it was
Richard
Crummell.
Okay, you walk across stage and say, what the hell are you doing here?
Yeah.
You walk by. Okay.
I had Mr. Ford when I was sophomore.
Okay.
Because freshmen weren't in high school when I got there.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I remember those days, yeah. Because I taught freshmen at Hughes, and then, never again.
Yeah.
But anyway... But this is what we were talking about: is all these places that we remember, but and we kind of remember them fondly. Taylor still laments Dairy Twin, but don't you?
Dairy Twin, was an iconic.
Yeah, it was.
And
it was iconic
with all my heart.
So.
Yeah, and some people miss
my
that.
childhood.
Yeah,
a lot of people do, but there's a lot of people that my parents miss, from their childhood. And there'll be stuff that I miss from my childhood, and. There'll be things that it's just kind of the life of a business.
That's
of like, I miss Woolard's jewelry all the time, but, I'm not going to hold Bobby and Carol against retiring.
Well, and they really did Gayla a great favor in a sense. They recommended her to all their clients, and so a good number of former Woolard's clients are Gayla Moore's over at
Southern Gym.
And
absolutely,
and that's what kind of community we live in.
Exactly,
and it's very nice of them. But like when I go to my hometown, I don't have these feelings because I went to Plano, and when I moved there in 1974, my dad moved us there. It was just houses, and it's like 1,000 people. Okay, now it's 100. It was 100,000 when I graduated 6 years later. But we still did not have a shopping mall. We didn't have a theater. We didn't. It was just houses and churches and grocery stores.
I think it's important with the way we approach, serving the community. It's making sure that things that we do bring in contribute to the community and and how we serve our citizens.
But do you get suggestions from either people in the government or people, the community itself saying, we need one of these, we need one of those? We need,
all the time.
Okay, but like sometimes maybe by name, but also maybe by what they serve.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you take that into
we take that, and then we try to find a user that fits our community, and then we reach out to them and see if there's a fit, and try to find them a place and go from there. That's what we did with Alley Cats was that way. And then so was Twisted Sisters, that's under construction right now in Old Town.
Yeah, is that opening up soon? I've seen
before the end of the year.
Okay,
so
but again,
they're in there doing their finish out. Right
okay,
now, so
but more of the construction issue because I know they've had their sign up for about 3 or 4 months.
They have. Once they signed the lease, they put the sign up, and then they had to design the finish out and get the permits and everything like that. But they're rolling now.
Well, that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah, but those are, case in point, those are 2 sisters. One lives in Midlothian, one lives in Mansfield. It's a family business, and we went and tried their spot and reached out to them and to see if there was a fit. There was a fit. Then we paired them up with the developer that had the space, and it worked out. And now they're going to be coming to Burleson. But they're ones that are very community oriented and minded, and they'll contribute to not just Old Town but to the community as a whole.
And we have a lot of businesses that do that. That's why I'm so fond of people that have and continue to sponsor the show because they're community-oriented people. And you don't get that in a lot of communities.
No, and we, we support them as much as we can through the different events that we do, 817 Day that we did on August 17th by passing out free ice cream in a couple different places.
Right.
You saw some businesses climb aboard on that and have specials like Station 330, Torque Grill.
Do you instigate those, or do you come on board? Somebody start them and they ask you to come on board, or do you?
So our team came up with the idea, I think 4 years ago, and we called it Good Humor Day at first. Just going around the community and passing out free ice cream and free popsicles and things of that nature. And then we, realized like, hey, let's do it on 817, call it 817 Day, and hopefully over time businesses catch on and try to do something themselves. That way we can cross promote and push people into these businesses to celebrate 817 Day.
That's interesting. Now you have a couple of things coming up, though,
yeah.
Right? But What do you got coming up?
So BTX Best Fest, this will be our 5th year for BTX Best Fest. We started it coming during COVID, basically, of when the state fair was canceled. We came up with the idea of doing, a contest of our local restaurants and bakeries and eateries and creating a state fair inspired dish. And we promote it. It's free advertising for the restaurants, and it's something else maybe they can put on their menus, an additional revenue stream, things of that nature for the month of September.
But it's not like in a location. I mean, these meals, these
appetizers or cookies or desserts or whatever,
all served in the restaurants,
yes,
right?
Sir.
Okay, I got it.
This year we have 26 entries.
Really?
So, and then, we produce a passport for citizens that want to take on 10 or more during the whole month of September, and they can turn that in and being put in as a drawing for a grand prize.
What's the grand prize?
Which is gift certificates back to those 26 eaters.
Works.
So that way you're pushing them back into the restaurants and the eateries again.
No, that's a great idea.
So the restaurants have been extremely creative over the years, and this year's no slouch by no means.
Is Otto involved?
Yes.
Okay.
You have Gina's and
Our Place?
Both are in there.
There you go.
Gina's is doing a dill pickle pizza. So
okay.
But
whatever.
I bet you, I'm sure it'll be a hit.
It probably is, but it's not the first thing I would think of.
So we have judges contest tomorrow, and then we'll have a judges winner. We have a traveling trophy that goes to the restaurant, and they keep it a year. Fish City Grill won last year, and then we have a People's Choice Award that the citizens vote on throughout the month of September.
Who's doing the judging?
So the judges this year are Tony DeConte, which is the research and development chef for McLean Classic Foods in town.
Okay.
And then you have Chef Michael from Michael's Cuisine in Fort Worth. And then Chris Ward, which is the executive chef at the Mercury in Dallas.
Ooh. It's a nice restaurant.
Yeah, so
How did you get hold of him? I mean, Mercury's a high-dollar restaurant.
Yeah, so we have Dave Mueller, that's the general manager at the Rim, has some great connections with chefs.
I guess he does.
And he's helped us out a ton. So we're excited. Last year we had Chef Bonnell and Trey from Trey's Chowdown. And, so it's been a fun time. This year will be a blast tomorrow.
Do you get to help judge?
No, there may be a little leftovers on the side, things of that nature, but it's a blast. We'll kick it off September 1st, run the whole month of September. And we provide the table tents for the QR code to all the restaurants, all the posters.
So it's not like you have to, a citizen out here, this sounds like a lot of fun. I don't have to go to like your website and access a passport.
No, they'll be at the restaurants if you want a passport.
So if I go there to, I'll go to Gina's, I eat that pickle pizza, whatever. But I just hit the QR code, and
that'll take you to where you can vote on People's Choice.
Okay,
it takes you to the voting platform. So,
but you have to do at least 10 times, right?
You have to at least partake in 10 of them, not all 26,
or not just go to Gina's 10 times.
No, just 10 different ones. Like. 10 different ones.
Yeah.
And then turn it in by the end of the month, and your name's put into the grand prize drawing.
Well, let's see if some of my favorites are on there, because I really like Fresco's.
Yeah,
okay.
Fresco's has one on there.
Okay, figures. Heim Barbecue.
Heim is on there with a deep fried brownie sundae.
Good heavens!
Yeah.
All right. Well, your buddy Drew puts this up there. There's a link to all of that.
Yeah.
All right. It's in the comment section, y'all.
So it's a blast to get involved, go to these different restaurants, see what they have, and try out a different restaurant maybe that's on the list that you've never been to, or a bakery or something of that nature.
Well, I did that once recently. I went to the Rim for the first time. I mean, it's adding I don't know. I don't go out as often as maybe
it's one of our
people.
favorites.
Yeah, but it's really good.
Yeah.
And so I went there, and Robin likes the hamburgers a lot, and so we've been there more than once.
Yeah.
And I hope they're on there. I assume they are.
They are on there with a taco pizza. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but again, it's state fair inspired.
Yeah.
So there's some real good creativity in there.
Well, that's great. And so that's a pretty clever plan, though, to come up with, though, really, because you're encouraging people not just patronize these restaurants, so to speak.
Our biggest thing is how can we put events on that create ripple effect in the community?
Well, you go to some place like the Rim, and I went because somebody asked me to go with them. And say, hey, this is pretty good. And we've been, like I said, we've been back. And you know what? It's always find interesting. Kind of a side note is when I go to another restaurant and I see other restaurant owners there.
Yes.
You know,
that tells you a lot.
It does. It tells you they know where to go eat.
Yep.
You
exactly.
know? And a couple times I've been at American Revelry, and there's Otto sitting over there. I said, "Hey," and he's, "Hey, let me know. I'm off the clock now." And,
and we're big on pushing shopping local, eating local, doing business local. So like a lot of people get confused of like our city limit line. Chili's, Texas Roadhouse, Cheddar's, Jason's Deli, Five Guys. That's all Fort Worth. So, and I've been guilty of eating outside of town too. From time to time
with a mask on or glasses and a hat.
I own it, but very few times do I do that. But it's important to try to keep as much money we can in town locally, not just with restaurants, but with our boutiques, with our services, all that kind of stuff. It all benefits the general fund and the 4B, 4A funds to help with services and maintenance within the city as well.
Well, I give Chili's and that whole lineup of restaurants credit for one thing. Since they're all Fort Worth, it was a real catalyst to get our act in gear and start putting restaurants over here in Burleson part of Tarrant and Johnson County. And so because when Chili's opened up, I think it was like 98. I mean, people standing out, lined out the door for Chili's, which is okay.
Well, they put a miniature version Chili's in Fort Worth too. Yeah. I mean, that's what that size of Chili's was tiny.
Right, but people were lining up to go, and I'm thinking, Chili's is fine, but it's not it's not something I'd wait an hour for.
Yeah, and on the other side of the freeway, our city limit line stops at PetSmart. So No Frills, Buffalo Wild Wings, Academy, all that's Fort Worth as well.
Well, so Buffalo Wild Wings is a different crowd. For me.
Absolutely. So
I'm an old man, but it's like Mary Slaney is who I'm bringing out. Who is it? Put it on Facebook. Mary Slaney is always promoting local business.
She is like the. She is the biggest cheerleader in town for small business.
And, when we're talking about small businesses, there's so many. It's not just these restaurants you're supporting. It's also a lot of these restaurants, a lot of these retail, and a lot of these other services support the nonprofits.
Absolutely.
And that's a real big deal. And I've talked with the nonprofits, and they're struggling because, like everybody else is, and we have a lot of opportunities. And sometimes these business owners is like, I can't help everybody because the economy's not doing as great.
Take Station 330, what they did for 817 Day, what Jesse and his team did over there. They partnered with Harvest House. So, yes, Harvest House and nonprofits are struggling a little bit for donations. Jesse wants to try to get more business in the door.
Right.
So, they highlighted 817 Day. Chicken fried chicken, probably for $8.17 was probably at cost if I had to guess.
At less than cost. He was losing money on that deal.
Exactly. So, but he got more people to come in and try his business. But he also donated back to Harvest House, like $300, I believe. From that one day event.
Right.
I think yes, everything's kind of slow, but when you can partner with other businesses, like the boutiques do the boutique crawl, or Christian from Mecca Fox put on like a boutique event at the lumberyard. So they're kind of cross promoting one another. To get them in one place, but to benefit two different things. You're starting to see a lot more of that.
Yeah, and we got some things coming up in the fall. Also, Brewfest is coming up.
Brewfest is coming up first weekend in October.
Right.
And what Brooke and Mel and Sarah put together with that, it's huge for the community too, and for the businesses down in Old Town as well.
Yeah, Old Town seems to be booming these days, but
it's still it's slower than it was last year, but people are getting creative with what they do to try to drive more business into town.
I meant to ask you this earlier in our conversation, but when people ask you or tell you whatever, or suggest things to you, what are they suggesting these days? What do they want that we don't have apparently enough of?
So there's some that are like, I want, Chewy's is one that we hear a lot from a bigger sit down Mexican food restaurant, but we're picky with that because we have Fresco's and Antonio's and
Miranda's.
And you have Miranda's, and those are all
Rio Mambo,
but those are all locally owned.
Yeah, right.
So those are going to be more freeway frontage kind of restaurants. So we get picky in what we recruit. But some of them we're not big enough for yet. I mean, people want just a straight sushi place, like a Piranhas or something like that, and it's just not.
I don't know what the appeal.
I don't know
sushi
if we
is.
could
Taylor, you like
support that
sushi? You like sushi, Taylor?
Not the biggest fan.
It's like you're eating fish bait. I don't understand it. I put that on my hook.
But there again, people do love that. So I mean, it's everybody wants something different than what we have. I hear a lot of Trader Joe's.
Oh yeah, I've heard that one myself.
But we're getting a Sprouts over by Kroger.
Yeah, the Sprouts is a very interesting crowd, you might say, because I mean they're all organic, and it's for people that are willing to pay for organic, whatnot.
Exactly.
Trader Joe's. You go with that one on Hewlin, and it's surprisingly affordable. I mean, you think it's some sort of
they go to
hipster joint,
very urban markets.
Yeah.
With tons more population than what we have.
Yeah.
And we're just not there yet.
I bet if they put it up somewhere nearby, they'd get some business, but I don't know these things.
Exactly. So,
I know Robin told me, I told this morning, she asked me, who's going to be on the show? And I said, Alex Phillips, and she said, tell him we want a Maggiano's here.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's all kinds of, everybody has their own preference of what they want. But we listen to everybody's suggestion. We put them on the list. We reach out to them when we find out who their broker is or something like that, and see if there's an interest. I mean, we're here to serve the community.
Now, I know you're not going to take a position on this, but do you think if the liquor referendum passes, will that change things?
I think if it does pass, we'll see a liquor store pop up, and I think my best personal guess, I think we have maybe one bigger one and two small ones in town. Ultimately, but I do think it's a benefit to our restaurants. If
it sure is.
Because where they're purchasing it now, from what I'm being told, they're being charged retail,
and yes, they are.
And that's passed on the consumer.
Right. You talked to Chris over at Wild Cigar, and he's the one who educated me on this about a year ago. Said everything on that shelf has to come from Liquor Depot in Alvarado.
Has to.
And I'm like, well, what do you mean has to? Because that's the law.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's craziness. And
you have to buy the liquor from the county you reside in.
Yeah. And I don't understand the purpose of that unless there's somebody getting greased, on the side for it. But it just,
And if we do have, it does increase sales tax.
Well, yeah. Well, people talk about, they're opening up a Specs, and that good enough? It's for Fort Worth. It's great, but it's not going to do us any good in terms of the Johnson County restaurants. Now it'll give the Tarrant County Burleson restaurants a distinct advantage over our Johnson County restaurants,
which we don't have a ton of.
Yeah. Well, what do you got on the Tarrant County part of the restaurants like Olive Garden,
Olive Garden, Applebee's, Logan's.
Yeah, but they're going to get an advantage over Fresco's and Rio Mambo and whatever else, and that's just wrong.
Yeah.
Communities shouldn't have that kind of I don't know what the word I want to use. Discriminatory practice is the best I could think of, because so I am on the record of being in favor of the liquor store. Now, a lot of people, I understand, maybe they're a little bit antsy about liquor being as widely available, but I hate to tell people this, but I do know some people in this town that drink, and they're driving to Fort Worth and to get it.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm hoping a Total Wine comes in, So I would not doubt for a minute that if it passes, and honestly, I haven't heard any talk about it. I think I'm the only one talking about it publicly.
You'll start hearing it more often as we get closer.
Okay.
Not from us, just from.
Oh well, y'all can't take a position.
Exactly.
You'll vote whatever you feel like, but you're not gonna be out there promoting yes or no, because you don't need all that grief. But
no, I also love my job. So.
Yeah, well, right, but that's it. But I really hope like a Total Wine comes in, not because I like Total Wine, but also because it'll help Chris out. It'll help Otto out. He has to buy his beer from local.
Yes, sir.
And that kind of thing. It'll help out, all the restaurants we've been talking about. And it also may encourage others to come in.
Yes, sir.
Maybe Maggiano's.
Maybe so.
You ever been there, by the way?
I have not.
You ought to try it. If you're, I don't know how often you get to Dallas. All right, so that way you can eat and nobody recognizes you.
I very seldom leave Burleson.
You don't know what Park Mall is, more or less. All right, it's in that.
Okay.
And it's It's kind of a place that my wife and I, when we go to Dallas for whatever purpose, there's antique malls over there she likes. We always stop by it.
Okay.
Either that or the old Campese's, the one on Mockingbird.
Yeah.
But as far as, anyway, I'm just saying that if we do pass that liquor referendum, I think a lot of people in their mind think we're going to have a bunch of, Billy Bob cut rate with bars on the window type of liquor stores. And we might, we can't keep them out.
They still have to go to council.
Right.
It's an SUP. There's, certain guidelines that they would have to, adhere to. So,
but you can't say we don't want you based on just some arbitrary factors. I mean, I know that maybe you require of them, besides the zoning issues, you got, square footage, certain type of security, certain type of lighting and all that stuff.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I know they, updated that ordinance not too long ago.
Well, I remember some people were saying you were discriminating against a small entrepreneur, and I said, well, I can tell you right now, you put a Total Wine over by H-E-B or something like that, those smaller stores won't survive very much because they're so much more affordable. And so, but anyway, that's not the point. It just I hope it passes, just not so I can drive short distance to get my booze, but because I can, maybe my buddies in the restaurant business could have a little bit more profit margin.
Well, and like I said, it ultimately helps the consumer.
I had this conversation. I'm spilling on myself this fancy coffee. Anyway, I had a conversation. So I don't drink at restaurants. I said, yeah, but your tab may be lower because they're able to pass on some savings, not just in your bar tab, but maybe on your chicken fried steak or whatever you're having. Sir. So that's what we're hoping.
Yeah.
But that honestly, I thought based on how widespread the conversation was the last time we changed our liquor laws, which was about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
There were signs, there was talk, there's all this other stuff, and it failed the first time, passed the second time, and I haven't heard a word.
Yeah.
And I'm just that's strange to me a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, maybe they're so focused on Trump and I forget her name. Anyway, sorry for my Democrat friends. I'll be nice.
Yeah,
Ms. Harris. All right, but I know. Well, I'm not. As most people who know the show know, I'm not that enthusiastic about Mr. Trump either. But I won't ask you these questions.
Yeah, I was about to say we're about done here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's just me. No, I know you're so discreet. I don't talk politics with guests at all because they don't need to be tagged with what I think. But anyway, back to the more important part of the conversations. You also talked about Project U.
Yeah. So
tell us about that.
We have our lineup for Project U 2025. It'll happen February 18th over at Pathway Church. We'll be announcing the lineup next month. And tickets go on sale October 1st. It's a full day professional leadership conference.
Yeah.
We get people not just from our own community, but regionally come in for the day. It's been a huge benefit. This will be our 5th year doing Project U.
Well, last year, it's still this year, I guess. Your last production, last February. 3 or 4 of my B&I friends went, and they raved about it. They said it was the best use of their time they've had in a long time related to business. They said it was not just informative and interesting, but well done.
It gets better every year. We get better every year. I mean, we created it to be a benefit to our community and to our entrepreneurs and small businesses, and that's why tickets are only $125 for the type of conference we put on. The value you get for that is unmatched.
Who's doing the food?
The Rim will be doing the food again and catering that.
Oh, good. So, but then you're going to have a decent meal there, and that's
absolutely.
A good thing.
It's not a box lunch.
No.
You go to a different room, and they serve you just like you were in the restaurant. You get a hot lunch.
Well, I want to give a shout out to another local business. I've been doing some stuff with BOF, and at our meetings, we'll have lunch for us, and they'll go get sandwiches from Stone Soup.
Oh yeah, those are fantastic.
Those are good sandwiches. All right,
yeah,
Stone
absolutely.
Soup, I had one last week, and excellent. And of course, my wife likes that one, and she also likes the honey baked ham joint over. So we get that again. What we were talking about.
Absolutely.
Hey, we had choices.
Yeah, we do.
But anyway, that's a free shout out, guys.
Yeah.
But I heard that Project U is probably, for its type of presentation, the best in DFW, or not this area of the state. And they were all just saying they're definitely going to be back again. So you better get your tickets soon, right?
You better get your tickets when they go on sale because last year we sold out before Christmas. We think once we release the lineup of speakers, we may sell out before December 1st. So if you're a company or an individual or a business owner in town or in the area, you better be ready to buy those tickets because they're going to go pretty quick.
And how do they buy the tickets?
They can go to projectuburleson.com once October 1st hits, and they'll be online for you to purchase.
All right. Projectuniversity.com.
Project U. Burleson.com.
All right. Well, hope to have you again, like in October or something like that. And,
absolutely.
Or whenever you can fit your schedule. I know that is your job seasonal by any chance? I mean, is it like fall is busiest time of year, or is it all pretty much around the clock?
It'll slow down around the 2 weeks leading into Christmas, but and then it picks right back up after the first year.
So it didn't really matter,
No,
fall, spring, summer, you're hard at it.
After 5, before 8, I mean, it's the phone rings.
Yeah, but I guess we got a couple of minutes left. How did you get involved in this? I mean, like I asked you earlier, when you were in high school, you just was thinking about, I hope I survive this ordeal. So how did you get involved in it yourself?
So I started with the city in the public works department, counting water, sewer parts.
Yay!
Yeah, exactly. And then had the opportunity to interview for a position, interviewed and was presented with an opportunity to go to City Hall to work for the engineering department. And then got to know Bradley Ford when he was here.
I remember him, yes.
He was in economic development and better understand what that was and what it is basically
well, Brandon Cripps here says he's suggesting some market research into getting something like a Duff's Famous Wings.
Yes, we've talked to Duff's out of South Lake. They were their original locations in South Lake, and they were interested at first, but I believe they had some kind of death in the family at the time. So Brandon, we'll reach out again, and it's been a few years since we've talked to them to see what the interest level is.
Well, but I didn't mean to interrupt your story.
No. But Bradley kind of took me under his wing, I guess, a little bit. And, economic development, all it is a relationship building business and creating those relationships and being problem solvers and, being creative and understanding your market and understanding the community and trying to do what's best for everybody involved to bring things in, goods, services into the community that are a benefit to Burleson.
I'm familiar with Duff's Famous Wings, but apparently they're somebody does it.
Duff's is basically based out of Buffalo, New York, where the Buffalo wing was created. So I mean, it's it's from what I understand, is a very good place. It's like a
Ruthie Murray, Murray's Bakery. Don't listen to Alex. He never stops working ever. There's no slow time for him. Burleson's lucky to have him, Drew and Joni. You bet. And Ruthie's is another place. The Murray Bakery's really done well.
It has.
I'd like to be a better customer of hers, but my diabetes again. I got to be careful. She won't serve me now.
I'm a great customer. I'm a great customer. My wife is a great customer, and my daughter works for her. So.
Oh, really? Is that right? Okay. Well, do you get a discount?
No,
I didn't think so.
I don't take a discount anywhere I go.
No, I have been there. I've had people that have brought stuff from there for little get-together, Sunday school party, whatever, and it's always good.
We look at, it's hard for us to stop working, but so does, when do our small business owners stop working?
That's the thing I always bring up is that people think they're an entrepreneur that just, they pull up in their Cadillac and, whatever and work a couple hours. And no, that's not it.
No,
Ruthie told me I'm not allowed in because she doesn't want to be responsible for my numbers trickling.
But we try to work as hard as they do to support them in the best way we can.
Yeah, they really do great stuff, and I feel fortunate living in this town. Yes, you're right, Ruth. Got to keep my sugar down. That's right. Yeah. I really feel fortunate for so many reasons, not just the economic things, but the nonprofits, the cities. I think the city is about as well run as it can be. People might bellyache about a pothole and all that, but go live in Fort Worth if you want to see an ineffective city government, or Dallas. That's even worse.
Well, we're never going to make everybody happy.
Just make me happy. That's all you need to worry about.
And that's and it's. I mean, that's hard for me to get by because I love trying to be everybody be happy with what we're doing. But there's going to be people that are not going to be happy with certain places that we bring in. There were some people unhappy with alley cats going in where they went.
Well, they'd be complaining wherever it went, right?
Well, more than likely, but it's working through that. It's working with the homeowners. It's working with the citizens and the businesses. And in doing that, we were able to kind of maneuver the site plan a little bit, put the go-karts on the other side of the building next to another industrial building. And then the owner decided to get the go-karts electric so that way you didn't have the noise and the smell and things of that nature. And it's been a massive hit.
It has.
What we thought it was going to be in the community.
Of course, some of these guys, they want to get these super-powered go-karts, and they're, it's all electric.
Well, they go pretty quick.
Yeah, well, they go quick enough. You go to Indy 500 if you want to race like that.
But that's part of it, is working with the citizens, working with the businesses to try to find the best fit and the best way to serve the community.
Well, I feel well served by this community. I really do. I mean, I honestly believe that a lot of our contentious moments we've had in city governance are behind us. I really believe that, I kind of was joking with Chris and with Victoria last week. I thanked her for making government boring again, because it's, governing it is boring in a sense because it goes through all those processes and all those details and all the meetings and all this other stuff. And that's the way it should be. We don't need drama, and we just need effective service. And I think we're getting it from our city council.
I do too.
And
we have a great city council, and I love working here, working for the community, working for them, working for the citizens. We got a great team. So,
well, we're about done here. So tell us in a couple of minutes what you would want them to know, about the BTX and whatnot.
Check out BTX Best Fest. Drew put the link in the comments, so make sure you check that out. That's launching September 1st. And then, October 1st, Project U. Tickets go on sale at projectuburleson.com. We're super excited. If you're a business here in town, reach out to us, how you can get more involved, how we can get you more involved and connected. It's one of our core values is community over competition. When we're all working together, we're better beneficial to our community.
You bet we are. And I'm glad to live in a community where, our entrepreneurs want to make money, but they're not going to do it in ways that are detrimental to the community.
New business coming to Old Town, Bike Labs.
That's Ruthie's cousin.
Yes, it is.
Jojo Barham, you betcha. I have forgotten about that. And I've known Jojo for 20 years. He's a former student of mine. I know his parents for a long time.
I just got so excited.
No. Oh my gosh! No, I forgot all about that. No, when I did a show about local businesses, Jordan called me up, and I went over and did a little spiel over there, and he's got a very, very interesting business. And
Mr. West gave me his cell phone number months ago.
That's his grandfather. Yeah.
Well, you take a look at what Mr. West built, and built, and you see the fruits of his labor with Ruthie and her business. And then now Bike Labs coming in with
where are they going into Old Town?
The Justice Insurance Building back behind Ruthie.
Well, that's over there. He's written from his grandfather, of course. I should have known that. But that's the type of community that the leaders before us kind of set up for us to take care of and then pass on to the next generation. So it's our job to kind of keep that momentum going. Well, that whole West-related family are good people.
Oh my gosh!
I've known all the 4 daughters, their husbands, and their kids. They're just really good people, and they're they make the kind of community you want to live in.
Yeah, and there's nothing better when you get a compliment from Mr. West or from some of the older leaders that have been in our community that built it to what it was and now continues to build. He says, hey, what y'all are doing is good.
Yeah.
It's easy for a lot of people to say, hey, I don't want no more people.
Yeah. Well,
but people are moving here because they want to be a part of the community that we're building. So,
and I also think that because of what we've been talking about, the nonprofits, the city services, the economic expansion, the churches are pretty active. I could see why people want to move here.
Absolutely.
And so every now and then across the line, we should sell this house and move some. No, forget it. I know
I mean,
it won't be any better anywhere else.
What the Parks Department is building and revamping more parks in town is incredible. So,
well, I appreciate you coming by.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
No, I'll probably be emailing you in a few weeks and about set up a date.
Okay.
Like to mid to late October, something like that.
That'll work.
Tomorrow I'm going to be doing my rant. I haven't done that in a while. I'm going to be talking about this election. It's the darndest thing I've ever seen, honestly.
Yeah.
This whole thing.
Put Taylor over here on the other side, and y'all talk about it together.
Well, I have a feeling.
I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I'm going to have a couple of respondents. I bet Brandon Crisp and his wife, lovely Irma, will be.
There you go.
Will be responding on the show. We'll, just trying to keep me from getting too far into the ditch, to the right wing ditch, I guess. But whatever. Ruthie says, "Thank you all so much for the kind words about my family." Well, they're
absolutely
they're true and well deserved.
Yep.
And then next week I have one of your frequent partners, Melissa, is going to be on with the chamber. They're going to be talking about, among other things, the chamber event coming up, Power of Heels.
Yes.
Y'all participate in that?
I don't personally. I know they have the women's conference coming up September 20th, I believe. The Full Circle Women's Conference coming up. So and then that's the Power Hills event.
Right.
Yeah, I know Joni's attending that as well.
Well, they were on earlier about 2 weeks ago, and they had one of the other Ramrods, Josie Jones, is on it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. That's a big deal. And then
absolutely.
Next Thursday, week from Thursday, there's another event coming up with Reach Across Johnson County. They're doing a lot of mental health awareness routines.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal.
And then we have the October 17th as the Chamber Luncheon, where it's the EDC update and kind of some new exciting things.
Where's that
also,
at?
It's at Pathway Church.
If we didn't have Pathway, where would we be, huh? It's either that or First Baptist.
Yes.
That's why I keep ranting on with Victoria. We need a civic center here, but whatever.
We're working on it.
All righty.
So,
all right, Taylor, try not to get in trouble between now and then. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, you're not going to be here tomorrow, right? Because
I won't be here. Josh is your Tuesday producer.
Yeah, because my DBU class, I get out of it not without enough time to get over here from Dallas. So it's on noon tomorrow, guys. You want to set your clock by that. You don't want to miss my pertinent comments on this election. But anyway, thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
And pass my thanks to Joni and Drew.
Will do.
All righty. We'll see y'all tomorrow.